Hello there, on behalf of Astro Matrix, my name is Marcelle, and I'm here today to talk to you about the full moon that's happening in Aquarius on the 23rd and the 24th of July, depending on where you are in the world. All right, so before I dive into it, I'd just like to ask please to like and subscribe to our channel if you do enjoy our content. And then at the end of each astrology reading that I give, I do a tarot reading on behalf of the collective, just to give us a little bit more information as to what's playing out. So the moon is at 1 degree of Aquarius. It's quite a complex moon that's playing out. It feels like there's a lot of layers to it, so I'm going to try and unpack it. The moon is in its fullest when we have the moon on the one side and the sun directly in opposition. So there's this tension of oppositions. The moon in Aquarius is at 1 degrees, and then in opposition we have the sun in Leo. So this axis is independence, freedom. It's serving a bigger picture with the Aquarian energy. It's very much about community. It's very forward thinking, versus the sun in Leo in its rulership, which is very much about where it is that you hold your light, your sense of responsibility. It's very much connected to I. Leo loves assertion and recognition. It wants to be validated for the power and autonomy that it is. So it's very much about the individual from a creative standpoint, because Leo is very creative. It also rules the 5th house. So we have this tension going on, and it's either operating within us or it's operating externally in the world through somebody else. So for me, this reading has a lot to do, this full moon has a lot to do with relationships, simply because we have Venus and Mars in the mix, as well as Pluto. But it doesn't just have to be focused on relationships. Venus can also represent finances. So depending on where all of these factors lie in your chart will allow you to get a greater sense of what the themes are that are playing out for you. So we have the sun in Leo and the moon in Aquarius. The ruler of Aquarius is Saturn, and Saturn is also in Aquarius at the moment. So it's bringing a restriction or a discernment or a need for some kind of responsibility. So check to see which area of your chart is ruled by Aquarius, because that's the area where something is completing and needing to let go around what freedom represents. Okay, so we could have distorted ideas around what freedom represents. Perhaps we're chasing a freedom that's not grounded and practical, especially because the moon in Aquarius is in an inconjunct to Venus, and Venus is in opposition to Jupiter. It's just come out of an opposition to Jupiter. So the Venus in opposition to Jupiter speaks of excess, but it can also speak of a very bubbly, social, gregarious personality, but also potentially somebody who could be walked over in terms of love. So also it could be somebody who's spending too much money. Venus in opposition to Jupiter, it also relates to finances and how we could be in excess with this larger-than-life flamboyance. So having Venus in Virgo is very much about, it's more of a shrewdness, a prudence around this excessiveness, these excessive aspects of our personality. So I feel because it's in Virgo, there's more of a taking stock of how it is that we are working with what love means for us, or the expression of that, as well as our pleasures, as well as connection to our finances, our abundance, our sense of abundance. So having the Venus in Virgo in an inconjunct to the moon, they're not speaking the same language. The moon is wanting this sense of freedom. It's wanting this this liberation. It's possibly even connected to the community. It's focused more on the community, whereas Virgo is very much about wanting to take stock and check and make sure that everything is in place. Virgo is very structured. It's very detail oriented. It's very research based, and it's very much about being of service. So it is a more personal energy in comparison to the moon, which is wanting on some level to break free. Now remember, moon in the same house as Saturn and rulership is needing to learn responsibility. It's needing to meet the illusions that it holds around what freedom represents in order to step into a deeper level of freedom. And the best way to do that is through restriction. So when you create a lot of pressure around scarcity, restriction, things are not flowing as easily, we have to work hard in order to break free. Now, to add to this in the mix, Mars is also coming into an opposition to Jupiter. And Mars and Venus have just come out of a separation from a conjunction. So these were the masculine, feminine energies. Mars is very much about assertion, will, power, drive. And as I mentioned, Venus is the more feminine, about ascetics and love, but also connected to the finances. So they were in a dance together. They were having a conversation. Possibly there was a meetup between Venus and Mars. And now all the energies related to this meetup are coming under some kind of scrutiny, especially because if we go a little bit further back, a few days before, we had the Sun, which is in Leo, into an opposition to Pluto, which is in Capricorn. So this is, Leo is very much, it's about its bravado, Leo. It's about the I, it's about me. And having that in an opposition to Pluto, this can dig up some really intense power struggles, especially attracting people from the external. It can bring up stuff from the subconscious because it's very much around power. And so you may experience tensions with people. You may have experienced tensions with people that were triggering something unconscious within you, triggering something came out in your expression related to your I, related to your creativity, related to your individuality, as well as your sense of independence. And having that Sun being hit in an opposition with Pluto, it could bring someone into your reality with whom you would experience some kind of power struggle. And it has to do with the Leo themes, as well as contractions or illusions around power, whether you are not fully owning your I as the Leo, or whether you're too much in it with a bravado, especially with Venus in an opposition to Jupiter. So there could be a tendency for excess, or there is a need to start owning more of that I aspect of your personality. So what's now happening just during this full moon and a few days after, we have Mercury in Cancer coming into an opposition to Pluto. So Mercury in Cancer is much more subdued. It's much more internal. It's ruled by the moon, Cancer. So it indicates that even though on the one hand there is this need for some kind of freedom within the chart with the moon in Aquarius, and also a release that's needing to happen, possibly around a pressure of not fully experiencing that freedom, this Mercury is really feeling quite inwards and more introspective, not only in how it communicates, but also on its reflections. So it coming into an opposition to Pluto indicates this power struggle through communication, or through your how it is that you feel about whatever that area of your chart is. So look to see what area of your chart is ruled by Cancer. It's on the tail end of Cancer, so it would be between 22 and 25 degrees of Cancer. And whatever that house is, that's an area where you are, it's an area of your chart that is requiring your acknowledgement, your reflection, your awareness. Having it in Cancer, and it has very much to do with the self, but it's more on a deeper inner level. So having that coming into an opposition to Pluto can really bring some intense power struggles your way. But at the same time, it can be a very powerful period for reflection, or for working with aspects of your psyche that you were not previously aware of, especially because the Mercury comes into a trine with Neptune. So Neptune is wanting to dissolve any illusion, and because it's in a trine, it wants to present a higher awareness or a higher level of truth. So Neptune supporting the Mercury before it comes into that exact opposition with Pluto. And of course, Pluto has to do with the subconscious. It has to do with distortions of power. It's coming from the cesspit of our subconscious. And we attract, when it's in an opposition, characters from the external to reflect those unseen aspects of ourselves back to us. Okay, so I'm just thinking what else I've left out. I think I've pretty much got all of that. So it feels like the themes very much have to do with really owning who we are and releasing aspects of our emotional frequency that are no longer congruent with aligning with who that I is. We're still experiencing pressures, especially mentally on a mental level, that inform how it is that we assert ourselves and take action in a healthier manner. So the mind is undergoing some kind of reworking with the Pluto as well as the Neptune in order for us to start releasing and purging outdated aspects of ourself that is not fully aligned with the I aspect of our personalities. So I hope that wasn't too complicated. So let's have a look at our tarot card spread reading. And this is a reading on behalf of the collective. And this has to do with the full moon in Aquarius on the 23rd and 24th of July. And this is a reading on behalf of the collective. So my questions are, what is the full moon trying to tell me? The second question is, where am I needing to transform what freedom represents in my life? The third question is, where am I needing to own my light? And the fourth question is, what is my subconscious needing me to see? So a card just fell down. I'm just going to pick it up. And it's the moon. Okay. So the moon is about confusion, lack of clarity. It has to do with fear, but it can also represent illumination. So the full moon is a period of culmination and illumination, and things that have been building up until that point now come to their point of fullness and can be released, in theory. All right, so I would say that the theme of the reading has to do with the energies of the moon, which is about things not being clear. It has to do with fears potentially as well. And so let's see, the first question is, well, let's first find out, is there a theme for this reading? Is there a theme for this reading? Is there a theme for this reading? Let's pick one card. Okay, so we have the Five of Cups in reverse. So the first question is, what is the full moon trying to tell me? And this is on behalf of the collective. What is the full moon trying to tell me? Okay, Six of Swords in reverse. Where am I needing to transform what freedom represents in my life? Where am I needing to transform what freedom represents in my life? Okay. Third question is, where am I needing to own my light? Where am I needing to own my light? And the fourth question is, where is my subconscious? What is my subconscious needing me to see? What is my subconscious needing me to see? And I've got the Judgment card. All right. So I feel that this is a love reading because we have the Lovers card. And the card that fell out was the Moon, which is talking about confusion. And the theme of the reading is the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups is in reverse. So it's talking about the need to come out of this stasis of being stuck on something that's been lost or spilt and start seeing what is more important in your life. So perhaps there's something that you have been focusing on that is not good for you, that is not serving you. And there is a need to free yourself of that and move away from it, to come out of it. It can also indicate that you are coming out of a period of being focused on something that was not good for you. Okay. So the first question is, what is the full moon trying to tell me? And we have the Six of Swords in reverse. And the Six of Swords is very much about moving away from difficult times to something lighter. And when it's in reverse, it's saying you're not doing that. You're not allowing yourself to move away from this, which is challenging and difficult. And it's time to start moving away. It can also indicate that you are busy moving away from something that is difficult to lighter energies. So having the full moon in Aquarius with the sun in Leo, and all the energies that are brewing up, it can also indicate that it's not yet a period to move away from the challenges and the difficulties. You might still be in it for a while, especially because the Five of Cups, as the theme of the reading, is in reverse. And so it's not yet, things are not clear yet because we've got the full moon here. So so where am I needing to transform what freedom represents in my life? We have the Lovers card. The Lovers card is about relationships. It's about one-on-one relationships, and it's also around choices that we need to make. So there is a need to liberate your connection to relationships and how it is that you approach relationships and work with relationships. It doesn't just have to be a partnership, it can also be friendships, one-on-one. So the next question is, where am I needing to own my light? And I've got the Five of Wands, and the Five of Wands is a card of tension and conflict. And so with these areas of tension and conflict, I feel that this card is talking about starting to own you. You know, for me, this is the Leo energy. It's saying, you know, even though there is this going on, I'm going to really come home to me and hold me through this, whatever it is that's playing out. I'm going to be on my side. I'm going to own my Leo eye. And so the last question is, what is my subconscious needing me to see? And we have the Judgment card, which is very beautiful because the Judgment is about stepping into a higher place. It's about evolving. It's about, and you know, I feel that this is where the Mercury in a trine to Neptune in the opposite, so Mercury in opposition to Pluto in a trine to Neptune, I feel that this has the potential to allow us this bird's eye view or this higher clarity or this paradigm shift around where it is that we should be evolving and stepping up to. So yeah, I feel like things are not fully clear for this full moon, but it's starting to urge us to move away from destructive or sabotaging relationships or aspects of our personality, or even interactions within the world with regards to work and spending. You know, the Lovers is not just about money. It's not just about relationships. It's also about choices that we're making. And so possibly we may be stuck in unhealthy habits or patterns related to our finances or related to how it is that we operate in life, and we're needing to make healthier choices around that. So I hope that shed light on your situation, and if you did enjoy that, again, please like and subscribe to our channel, and thank you so much for your time. I'd love to hear if this reading resonated for you, if there are themes that jump out at you that are playing out in your life at the moment that relate to this full moon that's coming up. So thank you. Bye for now.